The Phantom Thieves have arrived in Sanctuary as this season we're stealing hearts, Malignant Hearts to be exact, and there are 30 of these new powers that give massive buffs to your build and playstyle. So today we're going to go through everything you need to know about the Malignant Hearts and the new mechanic. Let's go! Thanks Blizzard ANZ for sponsoring this video. So firstly, we'll talk about how to actually get access to the Malignant Hearts. Now you have to roll a new character on the seasonal realm to access the new season content. So make sure that you have finished the campaign first and you skip the campaign in the character creation, as this new content happens after that point. So starting a new character might sound like a chore, but the recent patch that made map completion, Altars of Lilith and Renown account wide is a huge buff. Plus you can try a new class that you haven't actually spent a lot of time with. For me, that's the Rogue. I haven't played the Rogue properly since the review period, so I was really excited to jump in and play the Rogue, but that will give you access to the new seasonal content, and the seasonal quest will sort of intro the Malignant Hearts mechanic and sort of explain what they are. But essentially, at a high level, Malignant Hearts will take the place of your jury slots and give passive buffs very similar to legendary aspects would. By the way, there are some new legendary aspects for this season in the chapters, as well as some new unique items as well to grab, but there are 4 types of hearts, and each has a corresponding like jury slot as well. So there are vicious hearts, which are sort of offensive based buffs. There are brutal, which is defensive, devious, which are utility based, and wrathful, which are the super powerful ones. And you can only have one wrathful active at a time, and there are corresponding heart slots for each of these types, except for wrathful, as they can go into any of the heart slots. You'll start finding Malignant Hearts basically as soon as you start doing the seasonal quest, but for the most part you'll find Malignant elites in dungeons and out in the world. After defeating them, their heart will be there for you to capture. You'll then need to defeat them again, but you'll get the item. But the main way that you will find Malignant Hearts is in Malignant Tunnels. Now these are short dungeon-like content that will contain multiple Malignant elites, a boss, and an event that you can use to spawn specific Malignant Hearts. After you've defeated the boss, don't leave the Malignant Tunnel. You'll be able to access this new area which will contain an event. The Invoke the Malignant event will have these outgrowths around like a larger heart, and you'll need an evoker in order to evoke the specific type. So say if you've got a vicious outgrowth, you'll need a vicious evoker, and then by evoking that type it'll spawn another elite, and then after defeating that you'll get a vicious heart. So if you're looking for specific hearts, it's a good way to actually farm them via doing this method. But these evokers you can actually get from Corman's workbench in town. So if you go to his workbench, you'll actually be able to craft these evokers. You can also craft like different hearts here as well, or different caches that can give you a chance to drop wrathful hearts or even wrathful evokers. So really any hearts that you obtain, whether it's in the tunnels or out in the world, that you don't actually want to use, definitely don't destroy them. You want to come here and salvage them, because you get those materials that you'll then use to either create evokers or create specific hearts that you may be looking for. It's probably the most consistent way to get specific hearts that you're looking for. Even the wrathful evokers, which is the only way you can get them, is via the crafting method of crafting a random invoker. After you've completed the seasonal story as well, you'll get another evoker which can actually invoke that boss from the end of the storyline if you want to fight them again, as well as get their heart again. But it's also worth mentioning that the season pass comes with smoldering ashes, and the smoldering ashes can then be used to give you various buffs, and one of these buffs will actually increase your Malignant Heart chance as well. So you will need to be level 43 before you get access to the very first one of these, but after that you'll get them around like every 10 levels or so. But if you go into the season and then into the season blessings, there are various buffs that you can get with these smoldering ashes. The Urn of Malignance is the one that you want here. It'll boost the chance of powerful Malignant Heart drops. You can actually respec this season blessings as well. So say if you spend a lot of time in that and you finally got like Malignant Hearts that you really want, you can actually take your smoldering ashes out of the Urn of Malignance and put them into XP or something like that if you wanted to change the way that you're using them. But ultimately with these Malignant Heart farming and just trying to get them in general, I wouldn't worry too much about them until you have hit World Tier 3, as there is a ton of Malignant Hearts, especially the really powerful ones, that are locked behind World Tier 3. So when you're sort of leveling, I would just be focusing on actually leveling and trying to complete the seasonal quest and the seasonal chapters. And then once you hit World Tier 3, you can really start focusing on the Malignant Tunnels and actually trying to get specific hearts, as well as trying to get specific heart slots into your jewelry items. I think that's really important to focus on, because it's all well and good to have like the best Malignant Hearts, but if you don't have a jewelry piece that's actually one, good for you, but also has the matching heart slot available, then you will definitely have issues there. So the jewelry spawn rates seem to be increased, so at least you'll be getting more of them. But it's also worth mentioning that you can obviously buy jewelry from the vendors in town, but the Tree of Whispers, the jewelry options from the Tree of Whispers is definitely a huge buff now, because getting that right heart slot into actual quality jewelry is really important. So make sure that you're really tinkering with that, trying to find the best pieces as well. But let's overall talk about the best Malignant Hearts. Now, it does depend on your build, and also whether you've got access to World Tier 3 for the better hearts, but there are a bunch of Malignant Hearts that are sort of general that any class can get, and then there's about 5 that are specific to each class. Now, in most cases, the ones that are specific to your class are probably going to be a better buff, because they're more direct buffs to your specific class or even certain types of builds, because they often will actually affect your skills. But a few that I would look out for generally while you're leveling: in the Vicious Hearts, the Bacana, so critical strikes increase charge the enemy for a period of time and causing lightning to arc between them, and any other charge enemies dealing lightning damage is a good option, especially for melee builds. In Brutal Hearts, there isn't heaps that are sort of worth while you're leveling. The Lion Heart, which gives you barrier generation and heal per second while you have an active barrier, is a solid option if you're struggling with survivability. But for a Devious slot, the Determination that you can find as the general one, so resource draining effects are 40 to 50% less effective, and in addition they gain X amount of increased resource generation, isn't great. Like, I would probably be avoiding this one in most builds, because your resource draining effects are often your high damage dealing effects, right? And you don't want to make those less effective so that you can use them a tiny little bit more. So for the most part, I'd be avoiding that Devious Determination heart slot and using something that's more class specific in your Devious slots. But you could also even put the Wrathful Hearts in there, like especially the Malignant Pact is a huge buff. Like, I really like this Malignant Heart. So essentially what it does is it'll cycle through a different effect every 20 kills. So it'll either be gaining you 20% attack speed, it'll either increase your core and basic skills chance to restore your primary resource, or it will give you a barrier for a period of time as well. So it's really a great buff, especially for my like attack speed focused rogue that I'm trying to build out here when it's in that vicious form. It's really, really good. But there are plenty of other options that you will find, especially specific to your class. Like for me as a rogue, there's some really good options. Like, I've been tinkering with clip shot a lot, so I get a % chance for cutthroat skills to slow enemies, or my marksman skills to knock back enemies, and because I'm using some sort of a dual build using both of these types of skills, I've been tinkering with that a lot. But there's plenty of options that you can really see good success with. I would also pay attention to the item power on your Malignant Hearts as well, because they are specific to whatever level they have actually dropped at, or whenever you've crafted them. And the main thing to focus on that is for the actual increase to armor, because you don't have the normal slots on your gems that you can say, you know, put like skulls in to give you armor, that sort of a thing. The extra armor value is good, and some of them are also affected by the different stats and things that they can actually give on them, so make sure you're paying attention to those as well. But let me know what Malignant Hearts you guys are running in the comments down below. It's good to have a new mechanic to play with, and I'm really enjoying tinkering with these hearts, especially the new legendary aspects, like this puncher one that adds poison to my basic attacks. I'm really trying to make some sort of an attack speed build out of this that I'm really enjoying. I might make a video about it once I figure everything out. But thanks guys for watching this video till the end. Thank you to Blizzard ANZ for sponsoring this video. Thank you to the members for supporting the channel. My name is Norza, and I hope you have a great day.